afternoon, Chairwoman Larson and members of the committee. My name is Olivia Data. I am a junior at Century High School in Bismarck, and I am the vice chair of the Bismarck chapter of the Student Advocates of North Dakota, and I left school to be here today to urge you to please vote no on House Bill 1298. I've lived in North Dakota my entire life, and growing up I remember hearing all these jokes and sayings about how nice North Dakotans and Midwesterners are, and it always made me so proud to live here. Recently, though, I've been learning more and more about the prejudice and discrimination that we struggle with, and I've been reflecting more on the challenges that I've faced in my life as a girl. The earliest example of this that I can remember is playing tag in elementary school and overhearing the boys in my class deliver this devastating insult to each other. "You run like a girl." Now, this doesn't seem like a big deal, but growing up I've noticed countless jokes, insults, stereotypes, and even rules that enforce the misogynistic notion that girls are weak. That girls can't play sports, can't be assertive, can't be strong, and House Bill 1298 is saying the same thing. I understand that there are natural biological differences between cisgender boys and cisgender girls, but saying that trans girls, even after hormone therapy, are automatically going to win any event in any sport because they were assigned male at birth portrays cis girls as inherently weak and feeble, and it portrays trans girls as inherently predatory. Both of these ideas are harmful, and neither of them are true. Not only does this bill fail to protect girls like me, but it would actively harm us. Invalidating the gender of a trans girl because of something written on her birth certificate does set the stage for other forms of gender policing. If a girl is too masculine, performs too well in her sport, does not conform to traditional feminine expectations, the validity of her gender could be questioned as well. This isn't just a hypothetical either. We've all heard the term tomboy. Just because a girl is strong or has muscles or is good at running, that does not make her a boy. Conversely, just because a girl has the word male written on her birth certificate, that does not make her a boy. It is 2021. Surely we know by now that there is not one singular definition of femininity, not one way to be a girl. I am incredibly and increasingly concerned that this bill is not about protecting girls like me, but instead about hurting transgender students. Because the thing is, there are issues with girls being treated unfairly in sports. I've been taking ballet classes at Northern Plains Dance here in Bismarck since kindergarten, and I've been dancing on point since 7th grade. A few months ago, I was catcalled on my way into the studio. I brought up the incident to a few of the other dancers there, and it turned out that almost every single teenage girl there, even a girl as young as 12, had been catcalled or harassed or even followed on her way to class. Typically, feminine athletics like cheerleading, gymnastics, and ballet and dance are looked down upon and discredited, and it hurts us. Multiple friends and classmates of mine have been injured in these athletics, and when we mention this to medical professionals, we are met with skepticism. As early as middle school, girls' sports uniforms are often sexualized. There are sexist coaches and gym teachers known to make female students uncomfortable, and no one does anything. There is inequality between male and female sports in both media coverage and funding. The negative environment that our schools and now our legislation creates around sports for girls has serious consequences. I realize that many of these issues may be difficult to tackle, but surely there are better ways to promote progress in gender equality than barring trans athletes from playing on the sports teams of their respective genders. Furthermore, the idea that women are constantly in need of protection has been used throughout history, not as something to promote progression, but as something to harm minority groups. We've seen it as an excuse to be homophobic, stereotyping lesbians as predatory. We've seen it as an excuse to hurt black men and allow white women to be racist. We're seeing it now with this bill. Myself and other girls like me have been trying to speak out to our schools and communities about the issues we face, and many times we are met with condescension or even worse, silence. Our voices should be listened to, not misconstrued or spoken over. House Bill 1298 ignores the real and prevalent struggles that female student athletes face in favor of pushing a harmful and discriminatory narrative. As a cisgender girl myself, I am sick and tired of the challenges that I face being used as a shield to deflect prejudice onto other vulnerable people and groups. Transgender students, transgender children already face high levels of discrimination. We should be protecting them, not alienating them from our sport, our schools, and our state. As a student, as an athlete, and as a girl in North Dakota, this issue is very important to me. House Bill 1298 hurts transgender students, it hurts cisgender girls. And we, as North Dakotans, can do so much better in terms of creating a safe, healthy, and positive environment for all of our athletes. For these reasons, I urge the committee to vote no on House Bill 1298. I will now stand for questions.
Well done on your speech, young lady.
Thank you.
Senator Dwyer.
Madam Chair, and very well done. My question to you is, I received hundreds of emails, and many of them from girls your age, who say, I would just want to compete against cisgender girls. What do you say to them?
To them, I would say I used to hold the same viewpoint myself, not quite to that extent, but for a time in my life, I only had access to information talking about how trans girls, invalidating them, basically, and not providing information from both sides. So I would say that due to both internalized misogyny and thinking that girls like me are inherently weaker in all scenarios and in all sports, and also to the transphobia, so very and unfortunately prevalent in our society, I would say that those concerns are misplaced. I would say that that's not rooted in a desire for gender equality or for personal protection. I would say that that's rooted in transphobia. Thank you.
We have somebody that has requested to be able to speak online, Dr. Kathy Anderson.